The sound of rain hitting aluminum was louder than usual that day. The passengers aboard Flight E-749 barely noticed. The weather had been bad all week. The plane taxied, lifted, and disappeared into the clouds. Among the passengers was Naima Adair, a 22-year-old art student returning home from her first solo gallery show in Santiago. She had called her mother the night before, voice trembling with excitement, saying, "It finally feels like I'm becoming real." The plane never made it. No distress signal, no debris, no survivors. For weeks, the forest was combed by helicopters, dogs, volunteers. But the jungle doesn't give up its secrets easily. After a month, search teams were pulled back. The families were left with apologies and speculation. Naima's mother refused to hold a funeral. "There's no body. She's not gone. Just lost." But time erodes even the most stubborn hope. The years passed. The world moved on. Until a decade later, a forest ranger in Argentina discovered a sketchbook wedged inside the hollow of a dying tree. The name inside, Naima Adair. The pages inside were dry, the ink was fresh, and the drawings were not of the forest. They were of things no one could explain. It wasn't just the shock of the sketchbook being intact, it was what the pages contained. The first few sketches were simple: trees, rivers, self-portraits, faces from memory. But as the pages turned, the style changed. The lines became looser, frantic, almost desperate. Entire forests twisted in impossible geometry. Animals with human eyes, a house made of wings, a spiral staircase that led to nowhere. And then there were the words, "I don't know if I'm alive or if I've become part of something else." The trees don't sleep, they listen. The man with no tongue visits at dusk. The ranger reported the discovery. Naima's mother was notified. She flew in within 48 hours, clutching a photo of her daughter the entire way. When she opened the sketchbook, she cried, not because of the words, but because the handwriting had changed. It was still Naima's, but it looked older, worn, shaky, like someone who had spent years writing with her hands bound. Authorities dismissed it as a hoax, planted for attention, but one detail couldn't be explained. The ink used on the last few pages hadn't been manufactured since 2008. The sketchbook had never been opened. It had no signs of exposure. And in one corner, barely visible, a single fingerprint, Naima's. A private investigation was launched, funded by donations and online campaigns. Naima's disappearance was reborn as a digital obsession. Forums exploded with theories: alien abduction, time rift, government cover-up, spiritual possession. But Emil, a forest survivalist and ex-cartographer, believed none of those. He had seen strange terrain near where the sketchbook was found, places where GPS went blank, where trees curved like spines and birds refused to fly. He called it the inverted corridor. He joined the search armed with Naima's drawings. With each turn in the forest, he checked sketches like a map. One page showed a cliff with a single bare tree. They found it, identical in shape and angle. Another sketch had a pattern of stones and roots. They stepped into that same pattern in real life, feeling something shift beneath their feet. On the 7th day of the expedition, Emil found a cave. It wasn't marked on any geological map. Inside, the remnants of a campfire, scraps of cloth, and a wooden figurine shaped like a screaming face. One of Naima's characters, carved in her old style. He picked it up, still warm. That night, they heard humming, low, slow, and feminine. The team recorded it. It wasn't an animal, it was a human voice. And it was singing a lullaby Naima's mother used to sing. On the 10th night, one of the team members vanished. His name was Lucas. No signs of struggle, just gone. The next morning, they found his boots on a high branch. No footprints, no blood, just the boots, as if the forest had unmade him. The team dwindled. Fear grew. Emil pressed on. At the heart of the forest he found what Naima had drawn over and over again, the house made of wings, not literal wings, but branches shaped like feathers, bark flaking like old skin. A single door, half open. Inside it was hollow, not a living space, a vault, a place of keeping. Inside, dozens of sketchbooks, different years, different styles, all signed Naima. One had a final page that said, "This forest isn't a place, it's a memory, and I was never supposed to return." Behind him, something breathed, slowly, watching. He turned. No one was there, except, in the soft moss near the doorway, footprints, bare, small, recent. The search team never recovered Emil's body, only his journal. Inside he had written this: "She's still here. But not how you think. I don't believe she's alive in the way we understand it." She became part of something older than language, older than time. We don't find people in this forest. We find what they leave behind. Naima's mother returned to the site one last time, alone. She brought Naima's old scarf, left it on the moss. 2 weeks later, she received a parcel with no return address. Inside, one final sketch, a portrait of her, older, wiser, eyes full of peace. And at the bottom, written in the same shaky ink, "I remember you. I remember home. Don't come looking again." The world never officially declared Naima alive. But her mother never needed to, because some people don't die in flames or wreckage. Some vanish into the wild places where memory and time blur and become something else entirely. Not gone, just transformed, like ink in a closed book, waiting to be found.